Never thought it would be so hard. I grew up without a scar, just living my life with no big worries. And I've always known what I want, just didn't know what came.
Hi everyone, my name is Kathy.
And I'm Koi,
And
I
I
am every woman.
So today, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you have seen the trending video, the trending tweet
Yes.
about the Nigerian lady in Zanzibar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for any woman out there, it's just crazy. It brings out so many feelings. And so maybe for those who haven't heard, it's this lady, Nigerian lady, who goes on a solo trip to Zanzibar, and she gets attacked in her room and is almost raped.
Yeah.
Now this comes with a lot of feedback and a lot of mixed reactions, and even some people saying that it's fake. Well, fake or not, there are issues that women face, especially when they're alone. And unfortunately, on this side of Africa, it happens to African ladies more because the locals imagine you're a local, so you should understand, or I don't know, something of the sort. But anyway, we just thought it really is something we need to talk about. And even though it is so unfair,
Yeah.
it's really unfair. Like everybody should be free
Yeah.
to go anywhere they want to go at whatever point if they can afford it.
Yeah.
But we all know the world is not a fair world,
It's not.
especially to women. It's really just a man's world.
Mm.
So yeah, we talked about it and we thought it really is something at the very least that needs to be talked about.
Right. And I think just to point out, it's very interesting that this happened. And we had done a video some time back about you're a woman, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And we touched on that, the issue of just being able to travel as a woman. And that is just one amongst many things as women, where you either have a concern or you have to even plan like a lot more before you can just actually do what you need to do. So, yes.
Yeah. So, we're going to start with security.
Okay.
In general, security. And we'll talk about darkness.
Yeah.
Let's talk about darkness. Night. It's just the heaven of predators,
Yeah,
evil people.
Yeah.
Whether you're on foot, whether you're driving, whether you're in a bus, whether you're in your country or another country,
Yeah.
it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And obviously for the woman, it's just a lot trickier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this one is really tricky because, especially like for me, I'm a single mom to a daughter. So most of the time it's just me and her. You can imagine just the thought of going to sleep and then in the middle of the night you're wondering, did I actually close the door? That is enough to wake me up in the middle of the night to go and check all the doors, all the windows. Is it locked? And it's just a reality as a woman. It's a reality as a woman. Even if for example, maybe you're in a safe estate, even if you feel like you are in a gated community, that subconscious slight insecurity that you have at the back of it stays with you, and it's something that you have to carry, or you carry even without knowing that you're carrying that insecurity.
I will even point out something which you didn't point out. Even the choice of where to live.
Yes.
Must be a gated community.
Yes.
Because then you feel a little bit more secure.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not that, I mean, even men will feel insecure.
Yeah.
In a standalone house. But the fact that there's a man.
Yeah.
Somehow will deter petty theft and petty attackers.
That's true.
But if it's known that it's just a woman there with children.
That's true. This is interesting because even like especially now when you are a bit older, you're thinking, okay, I want to build a house, buy a house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I see some of my peers saying, oh, they want to buy land and build, and I'm thinking, no, I'm okay.
That's very funny. That's the same thing I feel.
I'm okay. I'll just buy an apartment. Yeah. I'm safer in an apartment.
Or a gated community. For me, it's a gated community.
Yeah.
In the outskirts, but somewhere where there's a big gate with many houses inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember even when we were in college, you wouldn't walk in a dark street. Like we knew which streets to walk on as it starts getting dark.
Yeah.
And it was bad even for the guys.
Yeah.
But it was a lot worse for
for the ladies.
Mhm.
And you almost hold your breath until you get to wherever you're going.
Mhm.
And not just walking in the dark streets, by the way,
Mhm.
even just generally walking around in town, for example, like Nairobi.
Mhm.
If you're a lady and maybe it's getting a little darker, and maybe to the bus stop where you're going, it's less crowded.
Mhm.
It's more of a problem, by the
Mhm.
way. You can't even leave the office late because you know where you're going.
Mhm.
Is a problem,
Mhm.
right? If it's not well lit,
Mhm.
or you're just gonna be walking along, because sometimes even just being well lit sometimes is not enough.
Yeah.
The fact that there's no traffic is a
Yeah.
problem. While men would, the initial instinct is, I'm a man, I'll go,
Yeah.
I'll handle whatever comes.
Yeah.
But the point is, should we even ever have to worry about that? Then on top of that, you get to the bus stop, and then you, in our case in Kenya, we have matatus, right? As a lady, the one thing, especially if it's later in the night, when the bus fills up and you look around and you see you're the only lady,
Yeah.
what comes to your mind?
You get very uneasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get very uneasy.
Yeah.
But it's between a rock and a hard place, because even if you take a cab, again, as a lady by yourself in the night.
Yeah. It's something I really wonder whether our male counterparts think about. When you get into a matatu as a male, do you ever wonder, okay, how many men are here? Or how many ladies are here? It's not something that you have to worry about. Mm-hmm. But as women, these are general, these are real fears that we carry with us every single day. Mm-hmm. And even if it's not a matatu, let's even assume you're even driving. Mm-hmm. You don't want to drive in a lonely road, and in some cases you want your car tinted because you don't want people to know that you're alone. Yes. And sometimes even that being tinted, you're wondering, what if it's tinted and I'm carjacked and then nobody will see that I'm alone? It's like always a double-edged sword,
In fact, let me just point out, when I used to do long travels, I used to drive to neighboring country. And I would really just make sure that dark never gets me. I would set off at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Because that dark is not so bad, because the light is coming. But if 5 o'clock gets me in some town and I know I won't make it to a busy place, I would rather just find a place. Yeah. I'd rather find a place to sleep.
Yet, you'll find most guys, especially for long distance,
they set off at 4 p.m.
Yes.
And then go through the night
so that they're there by morning.
Man, I know. You're lucky to be a man.
Yeah. Yeah, just realities of being a woman out here. Simple things that you might not think that you're even thinking about actively, but subconsciously you actually think about it.
But I feel like there always are ways around it. It shouldn't stop us from doing anything. Yeah. It's just you have to think about it. Yeah. It has to be there somewhere. Yeah.
But in cases like that, what do you do?
So for me, for example, for travel, I set off earlier instead of later. Yeah. If I know I'm going to be alone with the children, then I set off at 3. Yeah. And chances are I'll be home by 5, 6 or 7. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
And in cases of the matatus and the cab, I don't know. I think for me, what I do is I always try to let one more person know where I am. Yeah. And I think now social media is interesting. Social media came to save some people. I've seen situations where male content creators create videos that say you can play this video, and in that video or audio, the man has recorded an audio looking that sounds like it's either like your boyfriend or your dad, so that the people around you can listen, and you can even put it on loudspeaker so that it feels like you're having a conversation with someone, and they know where you are, or they for some reason, if it's a cab driver, when they hear you're talking to another male figure, they probably will not do anything funny. And then
that's great.
Yeah, they do great. That. Yeah.
But people also share live location.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. If you don't have a way of doing the social media stuff that I've just said, you can share a live location,
and someone knows where you are.
Or even just be on the phone with someone if you can. By the way, just be on the phone with someone. Let them, let the people know that you're on phone with someone. You can even mention, niko kwa matatu, tumefika hapa, just to word of anybody who's thinking anything. I know there are some women who go to extremes, and I've even seen well, I don't even think it's extreme. It's just a way of protecting yourself. There are women who take even self-defense classes.
Yeah. And the
Um,
pepper spray.
and the pepper spray.
Mhm.
But guys, really imagine if you're a man and you're watching this, talk to your sister, talk to your, female friends. These are the real issues
Oh, yeah. Of
that
course they
women
are.
go through every day.
Mhm. All right.
Yeah,
So that's to do with security. This
Yes.
one also has to do with security, I would say,
yeah,
but of a different kind.
yeah.
So I'll talk about the toilets and bathrooms.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Especially in Africa.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's a problem.
Yeah.
And maybe I can even just take the time a little bit to even just, put out some information. I work in a sanitation industry.
Mhm.
And so it's a big problem that even the UN
Mm.
has highlighted as one of the SDG goals. If you've heard about the SDG goal, that is sustainable development goals,
Mhm.
targets that, big organizations in the world are looking to solve, like social issues.
Mhm.
The biggest is sanitation,
Mm.
toilets, and
Mm.
lack of toilets.
Mhm.
In Africa and part of Asia is a big problem. Do you actually know
Mhm.
that in Kenya there are 5 million people who have no access to toilets?
Are you serious?
Yes,
5 million.
5 million. And 70%
Mhm.
of Kenyans do not have access to what we call safely managed toilets. These are latrines without a hand washing station and stuff like that. So I hear you when you say toilets is a big problem.
Mm.
So yeah.
I see people going to like an eatery or a place to have a drink, and all they're looking at is just the seats, they're lighting the service and stuff. And I'm like, there's one thing that is crucial for me. The toilets need to be clean.
Yeah.
The toilets need to be decent.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
Otherwise, for me, it's a complete deal breaker.
I understand.
I will not get a UTI.
I know.
Just because people like the place.
Yeah.
If the place is nice and it's frequented, fix the loose. Yeah. Fix it. Yeah. Otherwise, it makes no sense.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even worse if you're going through your menses.
Oh. It's terrible.
It's just terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
even bathtubs. I've been to an African country and it was a big hotel. Yeah. Well, 3-star, I don't know, 5-star. And I used the bathtub and I got such a bad infection. Yeah. I fear those things these days. I just, Yeah. It just made me so scared. Yeah. Yeah.
So Kathy, that is actually at high level modern experience. Now, if I may even go, deeper, especially like in the rural areas, talk about schools. Yeah.
Public ones.
Yeah, public schools. It's a big problem for the girl child.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you hear, children are missing schools because of their period. Sometimes you might think, okay, it's because of the fact that they don't have products to manage their menses. But sometimes it's because they don't even have toilets in the school. Wow. Or the toilets are not well built to provide privacy. Or they're full of flies. They're infested with flies.
So they don't go to school.
They don't go to school. They miss school during their menses.
Wow.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Toilets is a big one for both grown women and even small girls. And this one cuts across both urban and rural areas. Yeah.
And it's generally something that will hurt the woman a lot more because of our anatomy.
Yeah. And men can go anywhere. I'm not saying, guys,
They do get infections, by the way. But it's not as bad.
But I'm also saying, like, in terms of relieving themselves.
Well, they can easily
whatever. Guys, I'm not advocating that you go do your business out in the open, but I'm just saying if you need to, it's easier for you. Yeah. Think about it even when you're doing like a road trip. We do this.
I know. Guys, it's so easy.
I know, right? Just
so
find
easy.
a hole.
They don't even stop to think
or find
about
a tree.
It. Yeah.
And they're fine.
Yeah.
But for the lady, you have to
find a big bush.
A big bush away from the highway.
And pray to God there's no snake.
Oh my God.
Of thorns. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is another
Mm.
security, always security, I suppose, and this one is
Mm.
travel,
Mm.
solo travel, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, traveling alone as a woman,
Mm.
and sometimes alone as a woman with children.
Mm.
You know, I think you're still vulnerable.
Mm.
Down to immigrations.
Yeah.
You know,
The rep you get from traveling alone as a woman is
Mhm.
is a big issue.
Mhm.
And when you're looking for destinations to travel to alone,
Mhm.
the first thing you, especially if it's out of the country, if it's in your country, you probably know where
You can
it
go
would
and
be
where you
generally
can't.
safe.
Mhm.
If you're trying to look for a vacation destination and you're a woman, the first thing you'll try and Google if you don't know where you want to go is safe countries.
Yeah.
Safe countries. You
Yeah.
wanna know which ones are safe generally. Can you walk down the streets? It's very sad that
Yeah.
as a woman, that's the first thing you think about. I've seen vlogs, travel vlogs by men where they just pick a map and just,
Oh yeah, they can go anywhere.
It doesn't matter. A woman, you can't do that.
No, you
can't do that. It's very
And even
sad.
the hotel where you're going to stay, like
Yes.
you really have to read the reviews.
Yes.
You have to be so careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lest you're stranded in another country.
Yeah. See whether they are. It's safe.
Mm-hmm.
See it's in a safe location.
Mm-hmm.
Are they clean? All that.
I'm thinking about Zanzibar now, and
yeah, that story.
I mean, I feel bad for them. That's a huge investment that is going down. But I'm like, if there's a problem, it needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be fixed. They cannot hide behind.
Yeah.
Put their heads under the sand.
Yeah.
It needs to be fixed.
Yeah, true.
It needs to be safe for tourists.
Yeah.
And it needs to be safe even for African tourists,
Yeah.
surely.
Yeah. And my heart goes out to that lady, especially because she was saying, there are people who don't believe her. And in my head I'm thinking, I don't know whether people really understand just the trauma that comes with being sexually assaulted,
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like, she was going to celebrate her birthday. She was just trying to be, out here living an independent lifestyle, being happy. We are all about advocating for people's happiness. Yet, that one thing that's supposed to bring her joy, brings such a bad experience that is a trauma that she might need to live with for the rest of her life.
And even where there was doubt, there was doubt because people pointed out a lot of things. I went through the comments, and there were a lot of other people. There was a Ugandan lady who said the same thing.
Yeah.
She was harassed. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
And that is still in Zanzibar.
Yeah.
Really, that needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it is okay because people were saying, some of the comments, they were saying, they harass African tourists because they don't know that they are foreigners. They think they're locals. But is it okay to harass the locals?
It's not okay to harass a woman, period.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's a local.
Surely.
It doesn't matter whether they're from another country. It doesn't matter whether which race they're from. A woman, you shouldn't harass another human being, period. Whether it's a woman or a man. And that, for me, this is a cry to society that you who has that thought of, first and foremost, that she could be a local, there's a problem with you. Yeah. That's a problem in society that needs to be addressed, to be very honest.
Because who says if it's a local, then they can't dress the way anyway? It's messed up.
Yeah.
I think it's totally
messed up.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So for women, by the way, did you know traveling with children as a woman that you have to have so much more documentation?
I know. Oh.
Like a man.
Start with the Kenyan law.
Yeah.
Exiting Kenya as a woman, you need the father's consent. However,
if it is the father,
they don't need any consent.
Oh my God. Who makes those laws?
I know.
How is it those laws are not revised?
I know.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
That is so wrong.
Personally, I feel like if the law, you're trying to protect the children, then let there be consent from both parents.
And I'll tell you, it's worse. I have friends who are married to husbands of different race. Read Mzungu. So you have children who are not completely African. Yeah. Oh my God, it is so bad.
And maybe the lady is so dark skinned.
Yes.
And her kids are mixed race. So they look different.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to have so many things, you know. But even I, right now, with my children who are very African, I have to carry my birth certificates, the birth certificates,
Yeah, me
and my
too.
identification.
Me too.
And you have to prove that
That
they're
you're
your
the
children.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because it stops trafficking, but then it should cut across.
That's my point.
Why is it so bad on the woman?
That's exactly my point. If the law is supposed to be protecting the child, then let that
cut
law
across
apply to both parents.
Yeah, because otherwise it feels like discrimination.
I
It
know.
really does.
Yeah.
That's-
And then on top of that, now that you've mentioned immigration, there are some countries you can travel or you will have a lot of difficulty going through as a single lady, especially if you're younger, in your 20s. You know, they're looking at you
I
as
feel
if,
like you're working.
yeah, you coming to
Work. Commercial sex
Yeah.
worker.
And you know, they go to the point where they hold you back through immigration, and you have to prove that you have a certain amount of money in the bank account. You can't just travel by yourself.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It is so bad. So yeah.
I mean, until it changes, we just need to be careful because those experiences are nasty. Those are very nasty experiences. Before we move away from the hotel, we'll just talk about the making sure that your locks are working. You get into a room, look through every, you know,
it's interesting that you said that because just recently I had a trip out of town with colleagues, and out of the group we were in, we were 3 ladies. And for some reason, it's almost unspoken between us, between the ladies. It was almost unspoken that we automatically, when we're being assigned, you know, the rooms, and we're a big group, one lady shouted, "Please, can the girls have rooms next to each other?" In my head, I was thinking, you just read my mind. Wow. It's very interesting that you generally feel safer
if you know there's another woman.
Yeah.
If you bunch together.
If you're bunched together.
So even then there's a feeling of insecurity.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's just, and if you think about it, where really does it stem from? It's not like we are scared of the colleagues. The resort was really nice and safe, but it's just that because we are conditioned in that way, you feel safer with the ladies. So that, for example, if it's dinner time and you need to walk back to the restaurant and it's dark, you can grab someone to walk with you. If you need to run because of one thing, because you're scared of something, you can go into the other, you know, your woman, your lady friend, your lady friend's room without feeling uncomfortable or being scared, because it's subtle things that look, you know, very normal, but it's such a huge load that we carry every day.
On a woman. Definitely. I mean, I've slept in hotels and I've never checked under the beds, behind the doors. No.
You don't feel the need?
I think I'm thinking about it now. But it has never occurred to me. Which it should. Ideally it should, because you get into a room, I will look around because I want to see how it looks. And this and that. But maybe I'll go to the restaurant and whatever, I'll come back and just fall back to sleep, which is not good.
Well, for me, I will not necessarily look under the beds and whatever, but the lock.
Yeah, definitely.
That one, a lock.
Yeah.
If there are 3 locks, 3 deadlocks, all
and a chair.
Okay, not to the point of a chair, but all 3. Especially if it's in a town.
A chair, by the way, is very good. You know, someone can have a master key.
Oh, yeah?
Someone can have a way to open.
So that's a tip, ladies.
Yeah. So put a chair like against the lock. I know. The paranoia can upset you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. Well, the last one I'll talk about for travel is having cash. How do you have US dollars? Do you have a bank card? Are you sure it will work? This is an issue for everyone, even for men. But I don't know, being stranded as a woman again.
Because you don't want to be at the mercy of people you don't know. You don't want to be at the mercy of strangers. So you have to always have cash, have a card, have a second card.
For me, my strategy is I will ask and ask and ask and Google and ask and ask. And I will not leave anything, untouched. And then I will have money in the card, I'll have money in the phone, I'll have money in hand. You'll just have some money somehow spread out everywhere. Yeah. Just to sort of cover your bases.
Yeah. But I think now, nowadays it's a bit easier because at least most places will accept card. But now the problem is if if you have limitations, like there's some if you don't tell your bank that you've traveled, I see how that could be an issue.
Yeah, a friend of mine a few months ago got stranded in Ethiopia. It was really bad. Yeah. It was crazy.
Okay.
Alrighty, so we're out of that one. All right, let's move to clothes. Appropriate clothes. Appropriate. I mean, in Kenya, we're lucky. My dress, my choice, this whole thing.
But we've really fought to get there.
Yeah, that's
we've
true.
Really fought to get there.
That's true.
We've really fought to get there. And
it was such an important fight. I've never understood it.
But for me,
really
I
never
feel
understood it.
So triggered.
What is your problem?
I know. I feel so triggered that we have to fight.
Yeah.
To get there. We have to fight to get there. Women had to lose their dignity for us to get there, It
was a big fight.
You know what bothers me the most is that if and don't come for me, I just want to put it out as it is. If it's like a foreigner, especially if you're white specifically.
Yes.
And you dress, let's say, in shorts and walk around this town.
It's a non-issue.
It's gonna touch you.
Yeah.
God forbid you're black and you look like a local.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a local.
Yeah.
You'll see the stares, the eyes. Okay, we've moved past, people stripping you down and all that.
Yeah.
But you still get the stares.
Yeah.
And then, allow me to say this. Sometimes, if you're like, a bit on the heavier side
just
and a bit healthy and curvy, you're judged way harsher than as if you're slender. Why?
It's objectifying.
Why do we have such problems with the woman's body?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it the way we are? Is it the way we are cultured? Is it the way?
Is it culture really?
Is it culture really?
In the olden days, women used to walk around with their breasts out.
I know.
What is that?
I don't know at what point it evolved. But it's a very patriarchal thing. It's a very male-driven thing.
Yeah.
I feel.
And even men terrible.
But in Tanzania, did you know, it's actually the women a lot of times. It's the women.
Who judge you.
It's the women who judge you.
Yeah. If you're not modest.
It's the man who'll strip you, but the women won't help you. Not really. So in Tanzania, for example, I used to have to walk around with a kanga. You must have a kanga. That's the one thing they tell you all the time. You must have a kanga with you. And I'll tell you why it's actually important. I mean, in the beginning, I used to be rebellious. Don't tell me what to do. But there will be places, there will be government offices you can't walk in without, even in jeans. You will need to put a kanga on top.
Of the jeans?
Yes. That's how it works. And there will be a place, there's a market. You will not come out in shorts. It's not going to work. Or a short skirt. And by short skirt, I mean the knee slightly above. It can be really tricky.
I am unable to reconcile that because especially that country is heavily touristic. Do the tourists also walk around with a kanga?
Yeah. If they have to go into a government office, they will need to put on a kanga. Yes.
And it's a vacation country. Like it's well known for hot weather.
Yeah.
And beach vibes.
Yeah. Oh, so even when you're going for, I'm not throwing stones at anybody's culture or anything. I'm just stating it as it is. If you want to know there's a funeral, msiba, as they call it, in a certain home, you'll see women with kangas. It's just symbolic. Even if you're wearing a dera and you're super decent, there will have to be a kanga on top. It's just the way they roll.
Yeah. For those of you who don't understand the kanga, I'll link it here. And then if you don't understand what a dira is, I'll also link it here for you to be able to see what we're talking about. Basically, they're just different pieces of clothing to cover up. Basically, to just cover up. Yeah. But my question is, who determines what's decent and what's not? Who determines? Yeah.
That's the thing.
When does the woman get to choose what she can wear?
It constantly feels like you're apologizing for being a woman.
Yeah.
You're constantly apologizing for your body being the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not, you're showing it off too much.
Yeah.
Or your belly is a little too big than it should be.
Yeah.
Or, you know, something.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're put in a corner too much.
And you know, for me, I feel like it's very hypocritical because specifically, I don't want to sound like I'm men bashing, but those men who are stripping you out during the day because you're wearing a short skirt, they're the same ones who will not approach you in the club because you're not wearing a short skirt. Because now you don't look as
like
sexy as they would want you to be. It's like you can't win.
No, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
And I really dislike the part where you feel like everything you do has to be passed through lenses.
Yeah.
Certain lenses.
Yeah.
You know? I think it's really, I mean, I feel like in Kenya now the evolution is good. And it's, you know, it's at a good place.
Yeah.
But it used to be that even hair.
Yeah.
Do you remember a time when natural hair was a problem? Yeah. You needed to palm your hair.
Yeah.
You know, it's terrible. I mean, I love the natural hair movement that just came and just removed all of those.
We have really embraced that. That's true. Yeah.
People need to stop having to apologize for the way they look.
Yeah.
You didn't come to you didn't determine what body you were gonna come in.
Yeah.
What gender. You know, judge me for things which I can, you know.
Yeah.
I have control over my behavior.
Yeah.
You know, my words.
Yeah.
Judge me for those.
Yeah.
But why would you want to judge me for how I look?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No.
I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too dark, I'm too light. Really? You're in a glass house.
You're just
what if I turn around and start pointing fingers at you? Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me. At all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, unfortunately, these are issues we have to talk about.
Yeah.
In this channel, we try to speak everything, both, you know, things that are in the open and those that are unspoken. So we'd like to hear what, you know, from the ladies especially, what are those subtle things that you feel like you carry as a load, insecurities that you walk around with every day, just because you're a woman and you feel like, you know, your male counterparts don't have to worry about. Let's have this conversation. We might not change everything now, but I think the more we talk about them, the more change we will see. And I think we are just paving way for our girl child, in future.
And even empowerment. I think it also just empowers to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
If I go now to a place where there's msiba in Tanzania, I will put on a kanga because it is the norm. But I am empowered to know that I don't need to belong to that school of thought.
Yeah.
I am just doing it because when in Rome, you do as Romans do.
Yeah.
But in the end, I know that I am not apologizing. I'm not carrying that feeling.
Yes.
I'm not carrying that feeling of imagining I have to prove myself and I have to shape myself this way and I have to do this.
Yeah.
And I think talking about it helps us to know who we are, where we are, why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And even when we do something we don't necessarily want to do, why we're doing it, and up to what level it should affect us.
Yeah. Thank you. As usual, guys, like, comment, share the video, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.
Everyone judging me. Don't wanna care about them, though it hurts all